Hey there, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. So we're back again. I got my son-in-law David here helping me. We're gonna continue on with the 96 XJ, doing a clutch installation. If you need help with the transmission removal, that video will be linked in the description below. There's the transmission, and we'll be getting to replacing the throwout bearing and the shift fork spring, all of that in a minute here. But first we're going to turn our attention to removing the old clutch. So we're going to be removing the old hardware, and we don't know anything about this clutch, so older clutches can have asbestos in them. So we're going to treat this like it has asbestos. So David is soaking it down with some cleaner. He's got a mask on. We're not going to be using pneumatic tools. We're going to be using hand wrenches just to be careful. So we're using a flat blade screwdriver wedged in the teeth of the flywheel there to keep it from spinning as David is unbolting the pressure plate. 6 bolts around there, 1/2 inch. And this video is sponsored by South Bend Clutch. They gave us this kit to install on this 1996 XJ. Includes the pressure plate, the clutch plate, alignment tool, new pilot bearing, and throwout bearing. So be sure to check out South Bend Clutch's website, linked in the description below. And there's the flywheel. Now we'll take the flywheel off. Oops. So be super careful with the flywheel. It is heavy. It'll try to fall on you. So here's our flywheel. We gotta get this resurfaced. It actually doesn't look that bad. I don't feel any real rough grooves in it, but we're gonna get it all cleaned up. But we do have to get it resurfaced for our new clutch, so David will be doing that. And while we're at it, we'll clean up the bell housing side as well. Alright, we got the bell housing cleaned up, looks better. And this shield that goes over the bell housing, we gotta get it cleaned up as well, looks a lot better. But I think you've got yourself a rear main oil seal leak there. Got a pretty good leak going on, but that's another day. Alright, next we're going to turn our attention to removing the old pilot bearing out of the back of the crankshaft there. Here's our new pilot bearing, and we're going to use the backyard mechanic trick of shoving a bunch of bread in there, taking a dowel of some kind, jamming it in there, beating on it with a hammer, and it'll push that bearing right out. And with the new bearing, notice that there's a little seal. See, there's like a little O-ring on the inside of it there. We're going to want that towards us on the back side here. So there's a right way and a wrong way to put it in. Now I'm going to have you start out by taking the socket here and just kind of tap on this one to kind of break it loose. You're actually going to tap it in just a little bit. I think that'll help break it loose, and then we'll pack it full of bread.
I think it moved a little bit.
Okay, so we just wanted to break it loose. I love how my daughter put the buns on a plate. That was nice of her. Anyways, we're going to just get a little bit moist. You don't want it soaking wet, just a little moist. All right, so go ahead and pack that hole full of bread. Seems kind of weird, but this method actually works really well. So this socket actually fits in there nicely. I have a dowel on the inside of it because we don't want the socket hollow. And David's gonna just pound on that until that bearing starts to pop out. There you go, we got it. The bearing is out. Good job, what do you think?
Pretty cool. The bread out there.
Yep, now we gotta dig the rest of the bread out and clean that up a little bit. So yeah, just make sure you got the seal on the back side towards us. And then I would get it started with the hammer, just kind of tap it in until it's seated. And then we'll get a block of wood on top of it and tap it the rest of the way in until it's flush.
There perfectly flush right there.
Nice, looks good. And through the magic of video editing, we got the flywheel resurfaced. All shiny clean, looks good. So let's install that. Put the shield back on. And notice that the right-hand side, that's where the starter goes. Go ahead and lift the flywheel up into place. And be careful, don't drop it on your fingers, as I have done before. And it'll barely sit on that ledge, so you gotta hold it there.
Right there.
Now, one beautiful thing about the flywheel, the bolt pattern is kind of offset a little bit, so it'll only go on one way.
Right there.
Just don't drop it. I dropped it on my finger. Oh, crushed my finger, like blood squirting out. It was horrible. I have nightmares from that. Now David is torquing these to 105 foot-pounds, and we're alternating sides because you want to tighten it down evenly. He's just getting one side snug and then moving on to the next. You want to do it in kind of a star pattern, and we got a screwdriver there wedged into the flywheel because it'll try to turn on you. Actually, I wedged the screwdriver in the timing mark. I think I like that better than on the teeth. Now we're gonna clean off the flywheel, and after we clean it, we can't be touching it anymore. So now we're gonna take a little bit of grease and grease up the inside of that pilot bearing. We don't want to get, gobs of grease in there, but just enough to get all those bearings. Okay, now we can put the clutch disc on, and you can see that this side where you see more of the spring is going to be facing towards us. This side goes towards the flywheel. So go ahead and put your alignment tool, and this part here of the alignment tool goes inside of the pilot bearing. So this is toothed right here. So it goes inside the clutch like that. Now you can set it inside there. There you go. Just like that, and that'll hold it in place. So now we can bring the pressure plate up. We're trying not to touch the surface here or the surface of the pressure plate on the back side. Now we're going to move the pressure plate until it lines up with our bolt holes there. You got that?
Yep.
We grab some bolts. Yeah, we got to twist it.
Twist it a little more. There we go. That lines up right there.
And get all the bolts in on the pressure plate. And on the pressure plate, it's super important to tighten it down evenly because it's actually pushing out right now on us. So we're gonna tighten these down kind of in the same star pattern again, alternating sides. And we're gonna use just a little bit of blue Loctite on these pressure plate bolts. Okay, now that we got all the bolts in, we have them really loose because, yeah, go ahead and turn that like you were. We wanna be able to move this clutch disc because we want to have it exactly in the center of all these teeth right here. Can you see how that alignment tool has a little bit of wiggle to it? So we got to just make sure it's pressed in there firmly, exactly in the center of these teeth. Then we can go around and kind of start getting all these finger tight and then torquing them down, alternating sides real evenly.
Feel the spring loaded.
Yeah.
Because every time I tighten something, another one gets loose.
Yeah. Now the alignment tool you can pull out, your clutch disc, and everything is set. And there we go, installed a clutch. Good job, David.
There you go.
So there you go, installing the clutch on a 1996 XJ. Thank you, South Bend Clutch, for that clutch. Their website will be linked in the description below. And along with, this is a whole series on replacing the clutch, so coming your way soon will be the throwout bearing, the master cylinder, putting the transmission back in, all that. So check that out down below as well. Thank you guys for watching.
See you later.
Have a good day.